thought I would share what my grade schoolers' curriculum is going to look like. So some of our reading lists this year, and it's extensive, is right here in my hands. My channel. I'm Christi Riverton, and for the month of September we are doing a series on what we do with our homeschool. We are eclectic homeschoolers, and so for today's video I thought I'd touch a little bit on what I do for my grade schoolers' curriculum. So I have two that are in the 5th grade level. So I thought I'd start with our reading list. So for literature, what I do for my kids is we do read-alongs, read-alouds together, and now that they're in the 5th grade level, I will also have them do some independent assigned reading, which I've not done for them before, but I want them to do at least a chapter a night of quiet assigned reading that they can come back to, go to the library, pick out a book, and then tell me what they loved about the book that they read. So we'll be doing something a little bit different this year with that. I've not done that with them before. So some of our reading lists this year, and it's extensive, is right here in my hands. So for our literature class this year, I have selected these books: The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Where the Red Fern Grows, Alice in Wonderland, Stuart Little, this is what we're kicking off our year with, The Secret Garden, Heidi, Around the World in 80 Days, The Swiss Family Robinson, and The Voyages of Dr. Dolittle. So I'm really excited to read these aloud to the kids this year. And when we're done, watch the movie. So we did Charlotte's Web last year, and they still have not seen the movie because we were going to watch it and then it was taken off of the streaming service that we were going to watch it on. But we really had a fun time. We studied about spiders because we were trying at the beginning of the year a different type of homeschooling. So I did a lot of like literature-based learning. We learned all about black widows, stuff like that, how to draw a black widow, learned about the life cycle of a spider. We really had a good time doing that. But we came back to our eclectic homeschooling and back to our core with Easy Peasy. I'll go into that a little bit. That's what we do for our literature. For Bible for my younger kids, I do this children's picture Bible. So we read a story out of here every day, and then we talk about it, we discuss the morals of it, the history of it, things like that. I love this one because it has the illustrations on it, and I just really like the way the stories are presented to the kids. For my younger ones, I like to use some funny poetry, to study a little bit of poetry every day, and then we'll mix in a little bit more serious poetry, but still kid-geared, to really get them to find a love for poetry. And Shel Silverstein was the way I was able to do that with the kids. So we're going to be finishing up A Light in the Attic. We started this last year. We began the year with Where the Sidewalk Ends, and then we finished it up with A Light in the Attic, and we'll be finishing this book this year. And there's one more by Shel Silverstein that I will be utilizing, and then we're going to go into a little bit different type of poetry, a little bit more mature poetry for them. That I think they'll then be ready for. I feel it's a great way to introduce poetry to kids. So that's our literature and poetry and our Bible. Now for our geography, we do get geography through Easy Peasy, but I like to also once a week pick something out of here. I picked this up at a thrift store last year, and I fell in love with this book, you guys. This is the Reader's Digest Children's Atlas of the World, and I have to show you. The front is gorgeous. Look at that. The inside is just as beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? And and it talks about all kinds of things. The solar system, that was the study of Asia. Here we're looking at, look at this. That's the Low Countries. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it tells you all kinds of things. So here it shows the Netherlands, Belgium, and then it gives little facts and details. It will give you amazing facts. It also gives you projects to do. So I love this. Last year we did a lot on the solar system in this and studied like, let's see, maps and map making. So this is a really, really cool way to teach your kids about geography. I will be finishing this up with Ireland, Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. We're going to go back over some of what we've already learned and then continue on. And I will use this for Aspen probably next year. I'll pass this down and use that with him as well. I've really liked it. Ireland really struggled with her reading. It was a big stumbling block for her, and we actually played Monopoly the other day, and she was able to read the cards, like the community chest and the chance cards, and for me that was phenomenal to see that because she never would have been able to do that before. One of the things I have to say that I made sure to do with her was, and I think is important for just in my own personal experience, is she really struggled with her reading, and she used to say, I can't read. I can't read. And she would say that even after she was learning to read and was actually getting very good at it. And I always said to her, you can, you're just learning. You can read, you're just learning, and would reinforce that with her. And I think that's helped a lot for her own personal attitude towards it. To not get discouraged and to really applaud those wins that she had and let her know that the struggles are okay. Everybody goes through struggles when they're learning. So I guess that's my best piece of advice if you have a struggling reader, is to just remind them that they're learning, and everyone struggles when they're learning. So I know that was kind of a little bit off on our curriculum, but it's a big deal for us and a big deal this year that she's so much more of a stronger reader than she was, because it's going to open so many more doors when it comes to studying and independent reading for her that she wasn't able to do before. So I'm very excited to see how this school year goes for her with that aspect. Okay, so that's geography, poetry, Bible, and literature. We do language arts as well. Now, for me, when I'm working with a struggling reader, I didn't worry about spelling. I didn't worry about any of that stuff. Now this year, we'll go more into spelling and into those things. We did a lot of copy work. So for me, when you have a struggling reader, at least in my experience, copy work is a great way to learn about spelling, how words are formed, things like that, where punctuation goes, without stressing and trying to drill it when they're already struggling with something. Now this year we'll do more in the way of spelling tests, and I actually utilize, okay, so I pulled it up on the computer. So for spelling, if you want to do more of a traditional type of spelling, I utilize this, and I really like this because you could just, right here. So I had it marked originally for 3rd grade. I bookmarked it at that, and so that's what it always brings me up now, but you can go by grade, kindergarten all the way up to 9th grade. And it also has themed spelling lists, so you can do like Halloween spelling lists, you could do Christmas, Easter, stuff like that, which I think is kind of cool. But here it has like 3rd grade spelling lists, and then it has list 1, list 2, list 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, 30 different spelling lists. And when you click on one, it also has spelling games and spelling test and practice that you can do. But you just click on it, and then it will give you the words, but this is what I love about it. It also gives you a sentence to read to them. So you can do like a traditional school setting spelling test. So it'll give the word never, I never lie, and then it tells you these are basic words and here's some challenge words. So if you have a student that is doing really well on their spelling, offering this challenge words is a great way to make it not so easy, or how do I want to put it, make it so it's not as boring for them. I really like this site for spelling, homespellingwords.com, and I utilize that with all of my grade schoolers up until high school. For handwriting, if they're younger, so like for my kindergartner or any of them that I'm not teaching cursive to yet, there's this site, and it's sightwordsgame.com, and this has handwriting worksheets. So this is just your basic letter formations, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. Now, for cursive writing, I utilize this site, k5learning.com, and they have cursive alphabet worksheets, but what I like about this one is when they graduate from the cursive alphabet, they have cursive joins, cursive words, cursive sentences, and cursive passages. So they can really start getting into that cursive work and doing a lot of copy work with it. So I really, really like that for handwriting and cursive. So if you're looking for something like that for your kids, that's a great site to go to. So for history we use Easy Peasy. And I love the new myepassignments.com because you can plug in exactly where they're at, what they're learning, the day they're on, and then just click it off once they're done, and it moves them on to the next lesson, and you just open it up and you're good to go for the day. No more searching, keeping track. It keeps the record right there for you. So I really love that about Easy Peasy. The only record keeping I'm going to keep this year is marking off the calendar of the days that we've done. So I love that about it. It makes it so easy. But we'll do our science, our history, and for my grade schoolers, our mathematics through Easy Peasy. So for all my kids, I have the myeasypeasyassignments.com. And I have each of my children in here. So I'll just click on Ireland, for example. Ireland already has her math lessons, her learn to read, so we're also utilizing the learn to read, that sight word practice. But here we have ancient history. This is at a higher level. We've studied ancient history before, but we're actually taking it to the 5th to 8th grade level, so they're going to learn more in depth. And we're starting with ancient Egypt this year, so we're going to be getting a living book called The Cat of Bubastes, A Tale of Ancient Egypt. And then I believe the other book that we're working on, and I'm waiting for them to come tomorrow, is The Story of the World, I think is what we're working out of. And this year we're going to be studying biology. So we do our history, our science, our math, and then music, art, physical education and health, logic and computer, we all do through Easy Peasy. And then we add other things like some living books, and if I see something in with like their science, that I can show them a video on it and kind of bring it to life if they didn't have any of that media, because she puts a lot of that media in there. I'll also utilize some of that stuff as well for them. So that's a little bit of what our grade school curriculum looks like this year. Now for my high schoolers, I utilize Easy Peasy's math for one and Khan Academy's math for the other. And then I use Khan Academy for both of them for science and history, and they'll do electives that they do through, some of them are through our college courses that they're taking. So for my high schoolers, it's very, very eclectic. There's lots of different things. We also use some Georgia Virtual to do some of their classes, like their literatures. One thing I will show you this year. Now, for Braxton, my 9th grader, he'll be doing Spanish through Easy Peasy because she offers Spanish lessons through there. And then my junior is taking German, and so she uses Babbel to do German. I think that's how you pronounce it. Some of the reading material for my 9th grader this year is the Diary of Anne Frank. He's already studied for Frederick Douglass, so he did that last year in his 8th grade year, so he's a little bit ahead on his reading and literature for high school. Romeo and Juliet, and then To Kill a Mockingbird. So that's a little bit of his reading list. And then for him, he does a religious studies class. So he actually just reads a chapter of the Bible every single day, and so that's his religious studies, and then we talk about it and we look at how the history and stuff like that is. So that's a little bit of my high school curriculum. I will do a day in life for each of these, so that way you guys get a better idea of how this curriculum works, and it's just not me just sitting down talking about it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video in our series on homeschooling here and how we do eclectic homeschooling, and I can't wait to share some more of what our homeschool journey is all about.